For this class, we will focus on two more hypotheses, the input hypothesis and the affective filter, as the two last hypothesis proposals of Professor Stephen Krashen. Number 4, the input hypothesis. To Krashen, the input hypothesis is the most important of his 5 hypotheses. He states that people acquire languages by understanding messages, that is, by receiving what he calls comprehensible input. Krashen states that from input to production, there is a period when students do not produce any original statements. This is what he calls the silent period. We could describe the input hypothesis like this. In order to help someone learn how to drive, we must first show him or her how to do it. That's the input. And then, little by little, when the driver is prepared, he or she can start trying, which is the production. Learning how the carburetor or the gearbox works will not help him or her become a good driver. This is what he calls the silent period. Students seem to need the silent period to internalize the information properly. When this period is broken, students are likely to develop a negative attitude towards learning the new language. One of the problems most language teaching institutions face is the fact that the length of the silent period varies from speaker to speaker. Some have very short periods and start producing right after something has been presented in class. Others seem to take forever and never volunteer to speak freely in class. The affective filter hypothesis. Understanding a message is not enough to assure language acquisition, expresses Krashen. One must be open to the message so that it reaches the language acquisition device, the intake. Not all the input reaches the language acquisition device. Somewhere along the way, it is filtered, and only part of it is acquired. This filtering process takes place in the affective filter, which acts like a gate controlling the amount of input. The affective filter opens or closes according to our mood. That is, if we are relaxed and in a pleasant learning environment, more input will reach the language acquisition device. While if we feel tense or are in a negative environment, our efforts to provide input will be fruitless. Thank you very much for your attention. For further information about this hypothesis, access to the following link.